Greetings. This is the intro to the channel I started called Seeker's Refuge. Um, this introduction is basically just to tell you a little bit about who I am, why I'm doing this, and how I'm going to be going about it. Uh, my name is Treebase. Some just call me Tree, but hey, just don't call me late for dinner. Anyway, I'm in my 50s, single, and have had what I would say not necessarily unique, but not definitely not mainstream or the typical life, you could say. I started out in a dysfunctional family. My father left when I was 5. Before he did, he had gotten us into a church that had a good welfare program because, hey, have the church take care of these kids. Um, so I was mostly raised by a single mother with various siblings, and wasn't always smooth sailing. In fact, there was a lot of traumas, abuses, and various things going on in those times. By the time I was, well, for example, by the time I was 13, I'd moved over 30 times and attended at least 2 schools per school year. So there wasn't a whole lot of stability aside from all the other things going on. And I developed various coping skills. Uh, some people have said, "Oh, that's PTSD," and it's like, yeah, okay, so you say. Um, but for me, using that framework, one of the things with PTSD is what they call hypervigilance, which for me I reinterpreted as heightened observational skills with a accelerated learning curve, which sometimes, lots of times worked in my advantage, but also lots of times not so much. So when I was about 13 or so, and again, going through all these various things and realizing more and more that, hey, I love my mom and she did the best she could, but a lot of the answers she didn't have. Um, and a lot of the organizations or religions or whatnot that I was a part of or associated with at the time, they didn't seem to have the answers either. So my journey as a seeker started from a sense of going through some definitely less than optimal and even pretty horrific or traumatic or things. Some call it a do or die moment where you say, hey, this ain't working, got to find something else. And so I started searching, I started looking for answers, and that included uh, various uh, schools of thought, religion. I've read the Quran several times, Hinduism, Buddhism, uh, even Scientologists, Mormons. I've associated and been around and studied a lot of these different things. Um, I never, though as a kid, I had been signed up into various of these organizations or whatnot. But as I became older, I was like, hey, I don't want the package tour. I ain't gonna just say amen. I ain't just gonna let somebody else tell me how it is, because there was too many times where I'd see the contradictions or what looked like hypocrisy. So that's where in my studies and journeys, I'm like, okay, let me see what works for me. Uh, One of the main strengths that I have drawn on and continue to draw on is the Native American heritage on my mom's side. My dad's side, his dad was from Ireland, so I have more of the, you know, look like the average white man or whatever, middle aged or slightly older, I guess. But I do draw strength from my Native American heritage. The medicine wheel, a lot of the concepts and beliefs of, hey, we're all interconnected, all the plants, animals, and everything is part of who we are. Um, and so that had been my journey. I traditionally am not a what I call a house dweller. I spent numerous years developing tiny homes on wheels or getting old high top vans and converting them into a livable space. Currently doing that with the horse trailer. Uh, I just find it gives me more of a sense of freedom and being connected. Um, and I'm at the point where it's like, okay, fine. I think I may have something to say that might be useful for somebody somewhere. I'm not doing these videos as a way to get rich or, oh, let me get so many views and uh, then I could monetize and I could make lots of money. No, my main thing is just putting something out there, and if it helps even just one person somewhere, it's worth it. I'm also approaching this from the perspective of I'm not saying that this is how it has to be or this is how you have to see things. I'm looking at having people prove things for themselves and find what works for them. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I hope you enjoy the journey and see where it leads. If you want to watch more videos, that's cool. If you want to like or subscribe, that's cool, but not required. I'll probably mention it at times. I do have like a general framework of some of the things I definitely want to cover from, it being all about survival, um, my take on the mental health system or stealth system, some of the problems or things that are helpful there, and my take on Christianity and where it kind of got off track. So, but I am also open for suggestions and or ideas, and I have other things that I'd like to do. So if there's anything in these videos that's useful to you, great. Again, I would just say prove it for yourself and uh, continue the journey because we don't have to wait until there's a crisis. We don't have to wait until everything's fallen apart to recognize that maybe it's time to make a change. All right, I'll see you in the videos.